Hello everyone. Today I want to talk to you about how to be a successful online learner. Online classes may be new to you, so it's important to keep these tips in mind so that you can be the best online learner that you can be. Online learning has a lot of advantages, one being that you can really work the time management part of it around your schedule, and you can really be, more comfortable maybe in terms of like your environment as opposed to sitting in a school desk. So there's a lot of really neat things about online learning, but there are also some things to be aware of as you begin this journey. So I'm going to take you through a Prezi. The first tip that I have for you is get to know the program. We'll be using My Big Campus. You should really spend some time getting to know the program within the first week of the course. During this process, don't be afraid to ask questions. You can ask them to myself, you can ask them to other students, to Bob Campus, the IT guy on the website. My next tip is to apply excellent time management to get homework done on time. Time management during an online class is a little bit different than what you are used to. Notice on the bottom here I have avoid distractions. That would be your environment and anything around you. I'm not going to be there while you're working on the coursework as I would be in a normal classroom to make sure that you're not distracted. Think about where you are working on your homework. Think about what other web browsers you have open, if you're on Facebook, if you're on your phone, things like that. Really minimize those distractions to help you out. Make a binder is my next tip. If you are able to keep, notes, resources, any writing that you do on pieces of paper, just make a very organized location for it. The third thing is avoid electronic clutter. Electronic clutter is file related. You need to be able to know where you are saving your files, where your files are going, and making sure they're labeled correctly in folders. That will cut down on time management and make things go a lot faster for you. The next step, be extremely organized. This connects well with the binder idea and organizing electronic files. Those are the two things that I would very, very highly suggest. Another thing that we can include in being organized would be the calendar function on My Big Campus, making sure that you are looking at the calendar on a frequent basis, remembering to do so, and doing it in a timely manner so that you don't miss those assignments. And the last, and maybe arguably one of the most important things about the course, because it is creative writing, is to only use topics that are appropriate for school when writing. Alright, so topics to avoid include violence and weapons, death and suicide, and anything you wouldn't want the following group of people to read. So this group, if you were to imagine you reading out loud your material to this group of people: grandma and grandpa, mom and dad, priest or pastor, principal, superintendent, sixth grade student. Okay, so if it's not acceptable content for that group of people, obviously you don't want to use it. The other thing on the list that I probably should have added to would be any profanity and words like that. Be very careful with your word choice. If you have a question about whether or not something is appropriate, chances are if you have to ask me, it's not appropriate. So if you want to go with that general rule, otherwise feel free to message me and ask me what my opinion is on something. The other thing I would have you ask yourself is it relevant to the plot? So when writing, is it relevant to either the plot and moving it forward, or is it relevant to the character to explain that character to the audience? A lot of times students that ask me about appropriateness, it turns out to be non-relevant to either of those things and more of a personal preference. If you are writing on your own and not for school, by all means, that's up to you. You can do what you want, but because this is a course for school, everything is connected to school, and I would be reading it. Consider this your fair warning. If you write something in there that is not appropriate for school, I have every right to take that and bring it to the principal or bring it to the guidance counselor and things like that. So be aware of that as you write it. This is your warning. You won't hear it from me again. So, as I said before, those are the tips for being a successful online learner. If you have any questions, again, go ahead and email me. Otherwise, I will see you shortly in the next tutorial.